All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Alrighty. Ugh. Only a moment to spare.
You know what?
They
We're
call me
all
buzzer
good.
beater. They call me buzzer
Everything's
beater.
working. Everything is working. Right. You know what? You just got to get there by the buzzer. So we're there.
Look. Did you lose the game? Did you
Right.
lose the game, Coach? Oh, you didn't. Why? Because I hit it at the buzzer. Well,
Right. Guess what? It's going to go down. The scoreboard still reflects that victory.
you know that hype moment. Like it's like the final second. The ball leaves their hands, and the buzzer goes, and it's just like, okay, what is the ball gonna do? Isn't it crazy how like at that moment, like time
Right.
literally slows down? It's so interesting.
Exactly. Exactly. I think probably music is the same way. It slows down for you.
It's a flow.
Yeah.
It's a flow.
Awesome. All right, well, we're gonna say hi to everyone here, and then we'll
Sure.
get moving. So here we go,
Sounds
man.
good. Alrighty.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Sharma. Welcome to another episode of Your Big Music Moment. We're very appreciative of Walt Wines, or up there. Shout out to Walt Wines for supporting us with their generous support and wine. They make great wine. They're up in Sonoma. Check them out. We and all the artists are very appreciative of them. And at Big Music, we're a home for emerging artists, and our goal is to provide an environment that can be supportive to emerging artists and to help them in this current environment. And we offer them a stage where they can come, gain audience, and share the music that they create and that we love with us. We had a great show yesterday with Mad, and day before that with Bianco. And today we're lucky enough to be here with that Viola kid. So let's go say hi to Drew. Here he is.
Hi.
Hey Drew, how you doing, man?
What's up, my man? How you doing? I'm doing okay. Doing
Good,
okay.
good,
It's
good,
five
good.
o'clock.
Yes. Speaking of which,
It's 5 o'clock
cheers,
somewhere,
my friend.
right? Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers, my
really
man.
good. We're happy to
Yes.
have you, and let's just start out with a little bit of music, if that's cool with you.
Mm, that's really good. That's
Yeah,
really.
no, really,
I'm not.
exactly.
I'm like no cap. Like that. That's really good.
Here's some music. We're really excited. So if you wouldn't mind to let's
Yeah. Do
tip
you
us
want me
off
to
to that
just
again.
play? Do you want me to play or talk about it again?
Talk about it again. Introduce the
Just a little
piece.
bit.
We sorry we dropped
Yeah.
off there for a sec.
It's
So
all
here we
good.
go.
Hey, look, technology, right? Thank you. What I'm going to play for you all is the prelude, and later on this evening as well. Selections from the second Bach cello suite, and much of this music was lost to history. Uh, it was written 300 years ago, and it took the 19th century with Felix Mendelssohn first bringing Bach back into the musical conversation because many of his works were not being studied academically. And then it took a young boy in Spain to pick up some Johann Sebastian Bach cello suites that were thought of as just exercises, not real music, just technical etudes and exercises. He took these sheets of music and bought them at a street market in Spain and learned them and ended up recording them. And if it weren't for this man, Pablo Casals, we probably wouldn't have this music here today. So there are many shoulders that we're standing on every time we play these suites, and I'm just honored to be a part of the tradition. This is the prelude. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's amazing.
I was playing at a handicap. I had both my ears on, my headphones on, so I
Oh,
couldn't
right.
hear a thing.
Well, it didn't sound like that there was any handicap, but yes,
Rookie,
the
rookie mistake.
studio headphones for string players usually have one cup only.
You gotta
Right,
have one cup off so you can keep yourself accountable.
right. Well, tell us about how'd you get started playing this beautiful instrument?
You know, it's very simple. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a community that had school systems that supported the arts. And I had parents who really valued education and decided to put me in such a school system. So by the time I went to middle school and turned 12 years old, I was able to enroll in the orchestra.
Wow.
And if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have had the motivation, access, or anything like
Right.
that to. So, especially during COVID, I really recommend people donate to their local arts institutions. It's
Wow.
super important. You
Yeah.
never know who you could be influencing. That being said,
Right.
uh, going into orchestra class, uh, I was one of I was one of like maybe 25, 30 new kids, and none of them had picked viola, at least by the time my
Right.
name was called. And so from that, I was like, okay, I'm super hipster. I want to do the thing that nobody's doing.
Well, isn't it?
I
It's
just
also, I mean, that and some of those. It's the hardest, right? Because you've got pitch you have to deal with as well as the rest of the things.
what it is a lot of people. And look, there are a lot of string politics, and the viola representative, as one of the viola representatives of the world, I just want to say that yes, it is just as hard as any other string instrument, but for my violas I have to also add into the fact that at least when you're playing in a group, it tends to be the hardest because you have to figure out how to play in tune with the first violin and the cellist, and they usually don't agree. And then if they don't
Ah,
agree, they blame you. So it's like,
you're the bologna in the sandwich.
my man, we are the PB and J.
Well, so
Yeah,
but the viola as instrument is interesting. We are talking a little bit earlier. It's in this in between range where it can still get up there, but it has warmth. And is that something that drew you to it, or drew you to at least continue doing it
yeah,
after you
man.
started?
I don't think 12-year-olds have good judgment. I just think I got lucky. I think I got really lucky. And
I hear you. Yeah.
when I turned 16, I'd played chamber music for the first time. And
Okay.
that was the moment. That was the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, there's all kinds of stuff I'd love to talk about, but why don't we hear some more music?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
thanks for giving us an intro to this before.
Yeah.
Which and what are we going to be hearing now? It's part of the same overall piece.
Yeah, so Bach, when he wrote these cello suites, they're all based off of dances, except for the prelude. The prelude just sets up the key, it sets up the mood. And as you can tell by the prelude I just played, it's a very happy piece. And so we'll be getting more of the same here in this Saraband, which is a slow dance in three. And when it
Okay.
comes to the dances, the Baroque dances, is probably the most intimate.
And three, just for the audience, three is a waltz, right? So
Yeah,
three,
yeah,
four time.
one. But the difference between a saraband and a waltz is that in a saraband, the second beat gets the stress. So in a
Okay.
waltz, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same thing with the minuet, but a
Right.
saraband is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you'll
Interesting.
see how he writes it in the rhythm, how the emphasis is a little off kilter. It's very interesting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I hear that second beat comes through. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Everybody, before I forget, everyone, if you
Yeah.
can, please follow both Big Music and That Viola Kid, and donate and tip. I'm sure that would be welcome.
It would help me
And
pay for my groceries.
you know what? Yes, let's get some, because wine alone, although it almost can work, you need a little bit of cheese with it or something.
Just a little. Just a little.
Yeah.
Even the Romans needed meat here and there.
When we had a little glitch when we were introducing the song the first time, and you were saying something about that chamber performance that you played in. Was that
Hmm.
was that this same grouping of pieces, or was that something else? Or just let us
No.
know what we missed.
Yeah. So what I meant by chamber music, when I said that when I was 16 and I discovered chamber music,
Right.
what I meant was string quartets.
Ah, okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the construction of a string quartet, those of you out there, but it's generally like what I like to, the way I explain it is that it's an old school rock band. You have two violinists who are the guitarist or whatever, the lead singer and the lead guitarist or whatever, and then you have the violist and then the cellist. Quartet, four people. That's the
Right.
standard configuration of a string quartet, and I played one of those for the very first time. And
Ah,
when you
okay.
grow up playing viola and being in orchestra class, and you see how easy and uninspiring your music is. When you first see chamber music, you're like, this is so interesting. This
Ah,
first
it's
time I was
so
really
it's
challenged.
musically more complex for each individual instrument.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
it's like four soloists getting together, and just if you've never seen a string quartet perform, you're missing out. It's one of the greatest things ever.
that is exactly like a rock band. Is how do you balance
Mhm.
who gets the attention, or like basketball? You know, you
Mhm.
can have the star, but everyone has to step up at different points. And I'm sure the
Mhm.
composers take care of that with the quartet. But um,
Score study. I mean, it's not like I can FaceTime Beethoven and ask him, "What do you mean? What do you mean in measure 57?" You know, so there's a lot of historical text, and that's part of what it's really hard. Part of what is really difficult as a performer is like figuring out what is important, what isn't.
right.
Yeah. So.
What and you know you're performing a lot of now classical music, and you're obviously very well trained in that, which is a skill of precision and of emotion that's constrained by the
Mhm.
written word or whatever. But you've
Mhm.
also performed a lot of different rock and roll, pop on stage, doing a lot of different things. And how do you gel those two worlds? Like, how do you keep the improvisation alive and keep the precision alive?
Well, a lot of it is practice, and I'm going to be very honest. I'm not as good at improvising as I should be, mostly because it's not taught in the traditional classical
Right.
canon of pedagogy. So I
Yeah.
have many holes when it comes to that aspect. I'm quickly and with a lot of gusto, I'm trying to fill those holes in my ability, but I think that it's kind of like two different they're two different things entirely. Being able to compose on the spot and to be able to
Right.
change with the chord changes and to be able to understand harmony, that's a different level of thinking than is required to replicate what's on this page to
Right.
perfection.
Yeah.
They both can complement each other, but it's kind of like, you know, being able to squat 350 pounds, but only being able to, bicep curl 20 pounds,
Right.
two different parts of your body. So you have
Yeah.
to train them accordingly.
Understood. Yeah, that's so you
Mhm.
have to master your instrument, master the written word, and then on top of that, then just understand music in its totality.
Just
That's
keep go. Just keep going. Just keep going, bro. Like there's no end. Stop. There's no end.
well, awesome. Let's. What are we
Yeah.
going to hear? We're going to hear next is I can't even. I'll let you.
Courant.
Thank
It's
you.
the courant. Yeah, and a courant is another dance in three. It tends to have a lot more lively energy than a saraband. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to once again thank you so much for the platform. Thank
Yeah.
you for those of you who are watching. I really appreciate you giving me your time. It really means a lot because I know uh, one of the biggest losses that I've incurred, and I'm very fortunate to say this, one of the biggest losses I've incurred is a sense of purpose and a sense of like usefulness. As a performer, when you can't perform, it's like, what am I even doing here? So having the opportunity to perform is really valuable, and uh, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody involved. This is fun.
Well, the values to us, but thank you. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Hugs all around. Hugs all around, ladies and gentlemen. And
Wow, that definitely had some energy to it.
it's different. It's in three as well, but it's different, right?
Well, awesome. Drew, thanks
I'm
again for
sweating
joining us.
now.
And
Thanks for having me.
we'll do it again for sure. And it's great to have
Sounds
you here.
good.
And it's a privilege to hear that instrument singularly and out front and doing what it can do in the hands of a master. So thanks
Thank you
again,
very
and we'll see
much.
you soon.
Yes.
And
Sounds
everybody,
good.
don't forget to support and tip and follow that Viola kid.
Can you watch my podcast? I mean, can you listen? Please.
Yes,
That'd be
and the
great.
Faking Notes podcast.
Yes.
Exactly.
Please listen.
Absolutely.
We're growing. It's fun.
All right, Faking Notes podcast too. Thanks again, Drew. Take care, man.
Thanks, man. Take care.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again for Big Music Moment live stream happy hour. We'd like to thank Walt once again and also encourage everyone to go pick up a couple of bottles. It really is delicious. Also, we'd like to give a shout out to Musicians on Call, our charity that we work with. They do amazing work in healthcare and bringing the healing power of music to folks who need it. Stay tuned afterwards to see a slate about tomorrow. We're going to be here with Leo. He's an amazing vocalist and a very soulful performer. He's been with Big Music for a while, so we're looking forward to that. We also have some great stuff in the archives with Bianco and Mad. And as soon as this ends, we'll have one more in the can, and that will have been with that Viola kid. So as always, tune in tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you, and live to listen. Thank you.